Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Janderra. I'm Geraldine, and tonight I'm going to be giving you some information that I've learned recently about our amazing brains and how we process and encode information and how we can heal from trauma, which seems to be a big thing these days. Everyone's got something that's traumatic that they've had to go through, that they're going through, and it's just really stressful. Anyway, so for those that don't know, I'm Geraldine. That rhymes with heroin. That's the female hero, not the drug. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, my coaching business is all about guiding women to heal, restore safety, and rebuild self-worth. I support women who've lost themselves to heal their emotional wounds, rebuild their self-worth, feel safe in their own bodies, and own their identity again. Real healing, real identity, real transformation. And I use a really powerful 6-week neuroscience-backed breakthrough program. I'm going to tell you a bit about that sort of stuff. So, let's move right into it. For those of you that have been following my channel for any length of time, I've been through some stuff in the last few years. So in 2022, my house got really badly flooded. Then just after that, I stood in a hole, broke my leg. And then just as I'd recovered from that, I ended up with gravesdisease. And I'm not sure if you can see, but this eye is very, very swollen. And this eye is not doing so great either. I ended up with gravesdisease, which is an autoimmune disease. And my immune system was attacking my eye. Well, it was attacking both of my eyes, actually, and it was causing double vision. So I had a sudden onset of diplopia, which is double vision. And after a process of diagnosis, they discovered that I had Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disease affecting the thyroid, making it overactive. Sadly, I didn't get the weight loss, which is supposed to be one of the main side effects of one of the effects of Graves. I got the really rare thing, which was the double vision. Anyway, and then during all this time, it revealed to me just how broken my marriage was, and I have subsequently left that relationship to allow for healing. So yeah, so this is me and my two wonderful boys just a couple of months ago who went on a lovely cruise. And this is me and Jonathan. We've been doing Taekwondo together. And I'm yellow belt now. So I've gone through 2 ranks. So you start with white belt and then you go white belt, yellow tip. And now I'm yellow belt, sorry. Jonathan is a yellow belt with a green tip. So he's been doing a little bit longer than I have. But yeah, so our amazing brain. So every second of every day, we are getting approximately 11 million bits per second of information coming into our brain through our 5 senses. So that's through your eyes, your ears, your taste, your sense of smell, all that sort of stuff. You're getting 11 million bits per second, or up to 1 billion bits per second. So it kind of depends on the source, really. It depends on what's going on. Some things can be more sensory overloading than others. Some are a lot simpler. Now, our conscious mind can only process about 40 to 50 bits per second. Now, this information was from the Britannica website, so you can go and have a look at it. Feel free to Google it. I actually initially Googled 400 million and found out that that was actually incorrect information. It's actually only 11 million bits of information, which is still a huge, huge number in compared to the amount that our brain can actually process. Now, what our brain actually does with this information is it compresses this information, and it does that by distorting it, deleting it, and generalizing it, which is a really, really fascinating process, and means that seeing is not believing, hearing is not necessarily believing, And it's just really fascinating. And I've got a few examples of how I've actually noticed this in my actual life. I don't know if you've got any examples. I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Write down below, how have you experienced your memory playing tricks on you? I know the first instant I became aware of this was back about 20 years ago when I had a car accident. I was going through an intersection and a car turned right in front of me. And I could have sworn, black and blue, that I'd hit a green Action Liquor Barn van and that there was a Forex shop just across the road. Now, I actually hit a Forex van and there was an Action Liquor Barn van across this road. Very, very different colours, very, very different plans, both alcohol. There's just one, and yes, that was a traumatic experience, so it's understandable that the brain is a little bit confused by this. And interestingly, I don't know if you've ever read the book or listened to the audiobook or heard about the book The Cold Case for Christ. It's actually written by a cold case detective. So this gentleman goes into homicides from decades ago, sometimes when people have actually died, and he uses deductive reasoning and all that sort of jazz to actually deduce what actually happened. And one thing that he was saying when I was listening to the book, because he was using his skills as a cold case detective, so cold meaning there are no leads, so he was actually looking at the case for Christ, whether or not it's plausible that the Jesus actually happened. I actually really recommend the book. It's quite good. It's very interesting. But one of the things that he was saying is, as a cold case detective, if they're looking at eyewitness reports and they're all the same, then someone's lying, or everybody that's saying the same thing is lying because they've got the same story, and that's just never going to happen. People remember things differently. And I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how our brain actually works with this and what causes it and how your brain decides what it's going to distort, what it's going to delete, what it's going to keep, and what it's going to generalize. But just to give this a little bit more of a experiencey type thing that I've personally experienced. The other day I was taking my mum to an appointment in Gatton, and we were on our way back, and I'd forgotten that she wanted to go to the Whole Foods shop. So I'm driving home, decided to drive home, and all of a sudden Mum says, "Oh, are we going to go to the greenhouse?" I'm like, "The greenhouse? What greenhouse? What are you talking about, a greenhouse?" And she's like, "Oh, the Whole Food Pharmacy in Gatton." I'm like, "Isn't that purple?" I would have sworn, black and blue, that it was purple. I have a picture in my head of a purple building. In any case, we get there, and lo and behold, the blessed thing's green. Now, this could just be my memory being dodgy. And I fully admit that I have some dodgy stuff going on in my brain. I am a late diagnosed autistic lady, so there are a few quirky things that go on in my system. Plus, I have gravesdisease. That kind of messes things up a bit. But it turns out all the brochures and the flyers that we've been getting for the Whole Food shop have been purple with green writing. The building, on the other hand, is green with purple writing. So I don't know what my brain was thinking. But just to show it's not just me, I was talking to a lady the other day who's got hearing aids, and she was complaining bitterly. Well, not bitterly, but she was making the observation that, it's been a long day. She was making the observation that with the hearing aids, she hears everything. And when she gets home from a meeting, she gets in the car, actually, she likes to take the hearing aids out and just enjoy the quiet. because the hearing aids amplify everything. But when you've got your natural hearing, your brain actually closes off things it knows all about. So it doesn't bother to keep telling you things that you already know. It doesn't need to. I'll make this a little bit bigger. So she loves the fact that she can hear with the hearing aids, but she misses being able to hear conversations easily. And a lot of people with autism actually don't have that capacity to be able to filter out sounds like a neurotypical person does. There's just something not quite working in the executive function of the brain that makes it so that sometimes there's an auditory processing issue. And I know personally, if I'm highly, highly stressed and I'm having sensory overload issues, then I'll actually be able to hear that you're speaking, but my brain won't be able to process what you're saying. And that only happens when I am incredibly stressed, and I haven't been that stressed for about 3 years. So the only time in my life I've actually noticed the issue was just after the floods, just after I'd broken the leg, just after I'd been isolated away from my family for 3 months. Actually, no, I wasn't just isolated from my family. I was isolated from everyone. The only contact I had was actually my YouTube channel. So I was still doing stuff on my YouTube, and you guys were keeping me going. But when I got home, and I was surrounded by all the mess, and I couldn't get out of the container house, and life was just really, really hard. I was having trouble with processing sounds and processing things. My brain was just not coping. I did end up having to go on medication and all that sort of thing to be able to get my body back into some sort of semblance of order, because the stress of everything was just too much. I mean, I'd lost my house. The insurance company was being a pain in the butt. Well, not just a pain in the butt, they rejected our claim. So we basically lost $200,000 overnight and had no way to get it back. Caused a little bit of stress. So yeah, all that to say, our brain distorts, deletes, and generalises things. And it's really important that we actually understand this. And the way our brain does this is it's based on this is the neuroscience model. So you've got your external events. So it's coming in through your sensory input over here, and it's being translated and determined whether or not it's going to be distorted, deleted, or generalized by past references. So other times you've had that experience happen, decisions that you've made, meta programs, which is basically deep held beliefs, your identity, who you think you are, your values, your beliefs. Meta programs are a little bit deeper. They're more your beliefs about you that come from back when before you're 7. Human needs, which I'm going to go into that a little bit in coming slides. Your source of love, your shadow. Now, your shadow is very interesting, and I'll do a video or two on that later on. I'm actually going to be doing some fairly in-depth training on shadow work, and from a Christian perspective, the Holy Spirit explains to me that shadow work is basically when you see a speck in your brother's eye and you can't see the log in your own. So that speck in your brother's eye is an indicator that there's a log in your own eye, and you need to look at the log. So that's a very big generalization about shadow work. Your spiritual center, so where you are spiritually, your ego and versus your spirit. So then you've got your focus in your language, so your self-talk, what you talk to yourself about. If you say, oh, I'm so useless, I can't do anything right, your brain's going to distort and delete and generalize things all around that. And you're going to become acutely aware of everything you do wrong if you think you're always making mistakes. And you're going to miss the times when you make good decisions and you do the right thing. So it's a really big problem. And I'm going to highlight the the banner. If you do get triggered at all by anything I'm saying, please email me at triggered@janderra.com. Or if you've got any feedback or complaints that you want to make or suggestions that you'd like to see for future videos, email that through to feedback@janderra.com. I would love to get ideas on what you'd like to hear and see about, and feel free to put it in the comments as well. Please don't put anything negative in my comments. Email that to Janderra, triggered@janderra.com. Only put positive stuff in my comments, please, because I do have young people and vulnerable people here as well as everybody else, because everyone's welcome here. So our emotional state can also have a really big impact on what our brain tells us, as well as our physiology. So if you're feeling depressed, and I'm going to do a video on this a little bit more on how you can actually change the way you're feeling by changing the way your body's moving, which is one of the reasons that I'm doing the dance and the exercise videos each morning with upbeat music. And also make sure you drink lots of water. It's really important. Help to keep yourself hydrated, because when you get dehydrated, your body just doesn't function as well. So it all has an effect, and this in turn causes our behavior and then generates our results. And there are things that we can do to help support the body to have better results. It's basically all there is to it, really. So we have a triune brain, so that basically means 3 in 1. So you've got the conscious mind, that's your prefrontal cortex. That's where your free will, your wishes, your desires, your logical thinking, and what most people are consciously aware of. That controls about 10% of your emotions and your behaviors. Now, the other 90% of your emotions and behaviors is controlled by your subconscious mind. So your limbic brain, which is your emotional brain, and your brainstem, which is a survival brain. And this is the home of your emotions, your habits, your values, your beliefs, your fears, your memory encoding, especially trauma-related, and the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. It's a really big thing. A lot of people are becoming very aware of people being caught in fight, flight, freeze, and fawn mode. And there is actually research to show that people that get caught in people pleasing are actually stuck in fawn on steroids, and it's become where they live. They live in survival mode, and that is not good for the body long term. It's destructive to the health, and it's a really big problem. High cortisol levels for too long a period of time is a really big problem. And it's really important to learn ways to help regulate your emotion and your nervous system. It's really, really important. And I'm going to be going through videos over the coming weeks and months teaching some of this stuff. And then I'll have more in-depth stuff in some online training that I'm going to be developing. At the last 2 years, I've been in fairly intense study mode and learning and growing and research and finding out all this stuff. And I'm honestly, since I've finished my diploma, my learning curve has gone further up. And I think that's my happy place when I'm on a steep learning curve. I don't like it when life's coasting. I like to be learning. I like to be growing. And how the brain works is one of my special interests. So it's really important not to get stuck in this fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. It's really not good for the brain, but it stems from, and this is the 5-step trauma healing framework that I've learned through Luke Hawkins and the neurotransformation therapy that I've been learning all about. And I'm actually going down to Sydney next week to do a master's training in it. So I'm going to step that level up even higher. So as a child, and this comes back to when your attachment styles and everything were first coming into place. And I'm going to do videos on the attachment styles and explain some of that stuff, help you to understand what causes some of the behaviours that we have. And if you want to know more about attachment style, comment below attachment, or whatever you'd like to put. Say, I want to know about attachment styles. So yeah, let me know about that. As a child though, so before the age of 7, this is before your brain develops to the point where you can actually make logical decisions and all that sort of stuff. You're basically a sponge at this time. And we can heal the trauma from that. So there's a process that we can go through that can actually help to release that trauma and get you set free. And I know this because I've experienced it. So yeah, we've got 9 emotional needs as a kid, and they are to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to be significant, to be validated, to be accepted and loved, to have attention, to be able to express your authentic self. And we need to have a feeling of belonging. Now, we all have significant emotional events, which is what the SEES is. It's a significant emotional events that happen when we're kids that we had no control over. Some of them we remember, some of them we don't, and that's okay. But from these needs not being met, we take on negative meanings about ourselves. And that's created in our brain, and that becomes that meta framework that I was mentioning in the previous slide. So that meta programs here, that's how they're formed. So this is where you get the whole, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve joy, I deserve pain, I don't deserve love, pain is safe, pain is love. A lot of people have that, which is really quite, and that can be how some women get caught in domestic violence, and they keep making that same cycle happen over and over and over again because they've got that inbuilt metaframe that just keeps going through the cycles. So if you find that you're getting stuck in some of these negative thought patterns and you want to get free from that, I would love to organise a discovery call with you and see if we can work together. I am going to be putting a lot of content up on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook, so please feel free to link into that. And a lot of that's going to be groundwork for when I'm doing coaching with people. And coaching is not free. My YouTube videos are free, but coaching is not. My time is valuable. Your time is valuable. And my skills have been hard earned and they have cost me a pretty penny. And I've also experienced, I know the value of this because I've had my own personal psychologist and counsellor and coaches over the last 5 years to try and help me navigate the disaster that was my life. So I had that help. And the worst part was, so many times I'd come out of a therapy session and it'd take me 2 weeks to recover from the therapy session because I was so re-traumatized by the therapy session. So it didn't actually help. So I'm paying $200 for this. And in some cases I actually had NDIS pay for it, which was really fantastic. Although there are limits to that. And NDIS have changed a whole heap of stuff lately. So yes, and actually that's part of the reason why I decided to do this training with Luke, because it was going to save me a small fortune because I did not have the capacity anymore to be able to get the psychology appointments every week because my NDIS funding got cut because NDIS just started cutting everybody's psychology. Anyway, but I've got more freedom in the training that I've done with Luke than I have for the entire 2 years. And I know those 2 years helped prepare it and helped me to recognise what Luke was saying and understand what he was talking about and what he was training us. And I understood the attachment styles because I'd done a part of my counselling. I'd understood various different things, but Luke's got a system to actually help us get free, and he's trained me in that, and it's a brilliant process. And it helps you to identify where the initial program was put in place so that you can find that, deal with that, get rid of that, and you can become free. I've gained so much freedom, and I'm going to be sharing more of my testimonial over the coming weeks, just to share different breakthroughs that I've had, different limiting beliefs just been taken away that I didn't even know were there. They were just things that were ticking away in the background, changing my life and my world, because it was 90% of what I was doing was getting controlled by these programs that I knew nothing about. But thanks to doing some of the shadow work with Luke and doing some of the other clearing of limiting beliefs and all of that sort of junk, I've become more aware of that. I've gained much greater confidence. And it's really, really exciting. I was already very good at taking action. Now I'm just stepping it up to the next level. So there's lots of negative meanings that we create for ourselves from things that happen. And this is a very, very small list. So from these negative meanings, the negative emotions that are created and the meanings that got produced in these negative emotions, they keep you safe. So the idea of the brain is to keep you safe. So my brain has actually blocked out a lot of my memories from childhood. I don't know why. I know that some of the patterns I have been in as an adult, there are a lot of indications that there may have been something very bad that happened, but my brain has been protecting me from knowing that and protecting me from that. And I'm very grateful for that. So yes, my brain is fearfully and wonderfully made, and I'm getting set free from some of this junk. I really am. So the 6 main emotions that people get stuck in are anger, which I had severe anger, and Luke helped me to release the whole lot of it. Sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, and shame. These 6 are really, really not good for your health. So trauma response patterns that are produced from these negative emotions is criticism, contempt, stonewall, defensiveness, denial and blame, low empathy, gaslighting, codependency, people-pleasing, disassociation, anger attacks, shutting off parts of yourself, pain in the body, beating yourself up, control, and victimhood. If you have experienced any of this stuff, or if you've got people in your life that are inflicting you with some of this stuff, there's work we can do to help and overcome it. Okay? So we have 5 human needs. We have a need for safety and certainty. We have a need for uncertainty and change. We need to feel like we matter and we have some significance. We need to feel love and connection, and we need to experience soul expansion and contribution. These are very similar to the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And they're really important things to look after. But this is the 5-step framework for healing trauma. And it's something that I go through in part of the 6-week neurotransformation therapy breakthrough program. It involves 6 90-minute weekly sessions. Those sessions are at $500 each at the moment. Once I get to masters, my prices will likely be going up, and I may end up only being able to do group work. Part of that, you will also get 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, WhatsApp and tech support, not Voxer. And that support will come through at about a 24-hour response time. So please don't expect me to reply within seconds. I've got hundreds of messages and emails and everything. And you are important. You're very important to me. but I've got a lot of other responsibilities in my life as well. Plus full accountability to transformation. So yeah. So NTT, or neurotransformation therapy, is based on cutting-edge science to work with people to heal the unwanted traumas and patterns that hold them back. Through neurosubconscious rewiring techniques, we are releasing past stored trauma, negative emotions, limiting beliefs, and creating new, immediate, and lasting healed version of yourself. One thing I'm noticing is the more work I'm doing with Luke and his team, the greater level of freedom I'm getting. And it's fantastic. The more inner work I do, the more I become aware of, the more confident I'm becoming. And it's really exciting. So many of Luke's clients and people that go through this program use this to transform their relationship with themselves and those around them as well. Because you'll find that when you change, everybody around you is going to change too. So this is the basic breakdown of the 6-week program. I'm not going to go into too much detail with this at the moment. I will go into that more in future videos. So yeah, success stories. Me, for one. I've had some amazing breakthroughs. I had one issue where I was feeling like a failure and like I was powerless to change anything, that everything was an effort and I was never enough. Nothing I ever did was good enough for it. It was always wrong. I was too much, but I was not enough at the same time. It was there was a really big negative spiral, and it came back. The root cause of all of that was when I was a baby and I rolled over for the first time. Now, I'm not saying that this is an actual memory. I don't know. This is how my brain communicated it to me. Okay. So when I was a baby, I rolled over for the first time and the entire world changed and I had no idea what happened. I was completely disoriented. I felt completely powerless, like something horrible had just happened and I had no idea how or why or what. So we went further through the process of actually getting set free from this and looked at what the positive lessons that I could take from that situation. And by the time I finished that intervention, I was feeling so powerful, so excited, because I had actually made that thing happen. No one else rolled me over. I rolled me over. I made the change in me. So I was feeling so powerful and so confident. And that confidence has maintained. I have not gone back to that. So I've had real lasting change. I mean, yes, it's only been, oh goodness, nearly 3 weeks since the 3-day training down in Sydney. Maybe not quite that long. But when I went down, I was on some pretty heavy medication for depression. Now, I'm still on my medication for depression, but I'm not on as strong a dose. And they were actually looking at increasing my dose before I went down. But who can see that if you feel powerless and like a fear of failure, you're going to be depressed? Can you agree with that? Type agree in the comments. You're going to feel depressed if you're constantly feeling like a failure, if you're constantly feeling like you have no control. Do you follow? So it's really, really important to get over some of these. And it's not a matter of just getting over it. Don't just say to people, get over it, just choose joy. You can't just choose joy, because I mean, I'd never had that memory or that thought before. And whether or not it was a way my brain communicated with me or if it was an actual memory, I don't know. I don't need to know. What I do know is my subconscious mind and my conscious mind came into alignment, and we're both working on the same page now, and they're both looking at it that I am a powerful person and I can change my world. And from that, I'm having some amazing breakthroughs. Had some really cool stuff happen with my 8-year-old as well. So that's on a video that I shared a couple of days ago. Absolutely astounding. Like, we're talking about ASD, ADHD kid, and he was just stressed off his dial, really, really upset about something that had happened, was really terrified and scared. And this is not to belittle the situation, because I'm also working on that stuff as well, because you don't want to just wipe it out. But I needed to get the child to bed because our brains process while we're sleeping. So I was doing a technique with him where you imagine you hop into a little bubble, or have it so that you're surrounded by light and safe and protected. You see the image of what happened on the screen of your mind, and then you pop it, pretend that you're in a movie cinema and you're seeing it on the big screen. And who can see that if you're seeing the memory on a movie screen, you're not going to have as much emotional attachment to it? Do you follow? Cool. Excellent. Put, yep, I follow in the comments. So the next step I asked him to take was that he had to pretend that the person was saying what they were saying with their fingers on their nose like this. So they sounded really goofy and silly. And then I asked him to imagine that there were streamers going off all over the place and there were balloons flying everywhere. The kid started giggling his little head off and went to bed happily. And that was my main goal. The next day, we then actually had a better chat through and worked through some stuff. And we still have some stuff to work out. But it's all good. Some things take some time to work through. Yeah, they're just some of the little testimonials, and that's not even going through a proper 6-week program. These are little quick fixes that can help you to get to the big issues. And this is not a quick fix solution, but it is a lasting result that you will get, because we will actually deal with the root cause of the issues. Who can see that if you've got a weed in your garden and you just chop the top off, that it's going to grow back? Do you follow? Yep. Excellent. Okay. If you want to stop that weed from coming back, you need to get the roots out of the ground. You need to get those roots so that the weed doesn't grow back. Now, does it mean that there haven't been seeds put down by the weed? No. And there are different levels that you need to work through. And one thing I've been noticing, I've actually just done so the training I've done with Luke Hawkins so far is I've done the 5-day training back in October. And I booked in to do the NTT training in Sydney, which was a 3-day event. Did that. And I booked in to do the 7-figure business training academy. And then I did and I'm doing masters next week. And this week I've just finished doing the 5-day training with Luke again. And it's only like $7, that first $5 training. It is worth every single penny and then a lot more. It's worth, I would nearly say it's worth about $10,000 easily, given how much I've spent on psychotherapy and counselling and not gotten results, to actually doing this and getting results, real results that have lasted. And I can tell they've lasted because I'm actually taking meaningful, real steps and taking action that's actually getting some results. It's really, really good. I'm investing in me, and you are the best person, the best investment that you can invest in. If you can invest in helping you to heal and grow. And I encourage you to watch my journey over the next 6 months, because I'm anticipating some significant breakthroughs and some significant changes happening in and around my world. I'll have to do I want to do a video soon to actually go through some stuff that I went through around my weight, which is really, really exciting. And I think I've released a fairly decent chunk of what was holding me back and what's been holding on to the weight, but I'll do that in a different video. Just absolutely amazing. But the 3-day training was basically the practitioner version intensive for the 6-week program. So it's worth every single cent and is a brilliant program. So are you ready to advance to the next level and the next chapter of your life? I'll be honest with you, the next level is always ready for you. It has been calling you since the very moment you took your first breath. All it takes is a decision to commit, no matter what happens in life. It's actually really funny. So I'm flying down to Sydney again next week, and I noticed that there was a volcanic eruption in Indonesia, and it's affected some of the aviation stuff happening. So flying, I had to do some investigation to make sure my flights hadn't been cancelled, and because there were some flights that were cancelled, but not the ones for next week, assuming that there's no volcanic stuff. But interestingly, my first thought was, I wonder how long it would take to drive down. It's only a 10-hour drive, and I can do that now that I've got single vision. I can actually do that level of drive now. So totally committed to getting there. Anyway, so decision 1, I'm going to bring this up a little bit bigger. So decision 1 is figure out on your own, enrolling in seminar after seminar, training after training, and possibly wasting time, money, staring at a wall, procrastinating, not getting anywhere, or getting somewhere but then going backwards again, having little to no progress, wasting precious energy, trying to put all the pieces in place. Or decision 2, get somebody on your team, on your side, to help you get breakthrough that you need. Attract the right partner, rekindle the flame in your current relationship, get rid of anxiety, past trauma, gain full access to your guidance and your internal voice, help you to hear that, and to support you, what you want and need to succeed without all the stress, frustration, and be happy and free. Does that sound good? Who follows? Good? Excellent. So, which decision do you decide today? 1 or 2? Pop it in the comments. And if it's 2, send me an email at discovery@janderra.com. Or just put a comment down. Or send me an email at garowen@janderra.com. And we can organise a appointment. I will end up having a Calendly link in the description of the videos at some point. It's not there yet. But you can reach out to me on Facebook and Messenger as well if you'd like to book a discovery call. At the moment, I'm running a complimentary free discovery call for new clients. It's usually valued at over $297. So, and that price will be going up after I've done the master's training. Yes. Okay, so neurotransformation therapy is presented by Luke Hawkins. The neurotransformation therapy practitioner training, the next time they're running it is actually in March next year. So it'll be in Sydney again. So it's, as I said earlier, it's based on the cutting edge science and helping people heal unwanted traumas. So yeah, I went through that earlier, gave you a bit of a rundown on that. So Luke's been featured as #1 life coaching school in Australia. A lot of life coaches actually started with Luke. And he's bringing a lot of credibility to the industry, because there's a lot of cowboys out there and there's a lot of fly-by-nighters, because to be a counsellor, you need to be registered. To be a coach, you do not. It is not a regulated industry. So anybody can say they're a coach and say that they're getting results, but they're not necessarily getting any. You want to have a coach that's actually used the therapy and gotten real results themselves. So yeah, Luke is amazing. So what you learn at NTT is you learn the universal laws that determine what you attract into your life and how to attract the relationship, opportunities, and abundance you truly desire. You learn at the deepest level how to find the root cause of your trauma and heal it in yourself for good. Then pass this on to your clients. You learn how to heal unconscious mother and father wounding and experience a radical transformation in this yourself, then pass it on to your clients. You learn how to use the most effective subconscious language patterns for change and transformation. This isn't just saying affirmations. This is actually rewiring your brain. We're working with neuroplasticity to actually reprogram your brain with what you want. Because it's not about what I want, it's about what you want, helping you to get what you want. So you also awaken a soul recognition of true potential and a greater vision of knowing of who you are. You experience radical forgiveness of the people from your past. Then pass this on to your clients. This is a huge gift. A huge gift. You learn parts of the personality anchoring and archetypal coaching to awaken suppressed parts of yourself and hidden parts of the self on the masculine and feminine spectrum. You learn neurosubconscious past regression release techniques to remove negative emotions and limiting beliefs. Pardon me. You spend 3 days getting back to being the best coach you can be and receive the best transformation experience to get the confidence to change what you are to charge what you are really worth and become a successful coach. That's a really big one, and I'm going to be doing a video on that soon too. I had a really big issue with imposter syndrome, and even having a double degree in IT and multimedia with an award major in interactive entertainment and games programming and major in computers and intelligent systems and a GPA of 6.7, I felt like an imposter. It didn't matter what I learned or what I did. I still felt like I was an imposter. I still felt like I wasn't ready to actually do anything or help anyone, and like I didn't know anything. And I had a bachelor degree. I mean, even with the diploma in counselling, because I finished that just as I was going down to Sydney. And even with that, I didn't feel ready to start counselling people. Even though the government said that when I have the diploma, I'm allowed to open my door and start counselling people, I felt like an imposter. And it didn't matter how many times my assessor told me how well I was doing. It didn't matter how many times my study group told me that I had a fantastic not bedside matter, but I was really good at active listening. I was really good at hearing a person's real issues and helping them to feel loved and respected and seen. I didn't feel seen. I didn't see me. Anyway, that's another story. And I got set free from that during NTT, which was fantastic. It's valued at nearly $15,000. You get so much value. And it's honestly, you get more than that. Like I paid so much more than that for therapy and got nowhere. I did learn some really good techniques for overcoming imposter syndrome, and I'm going to go through that in another video, but not tonight. So this is the modules that you go through in NTT. It's absolutely brilliant. You get all of these scripts to be able to go through stuff with people. So I've got pathways that I can go through, phobia models with you, discovery call stuff. If you've got sleep issues, anxiety removal scripts, I'm going to be going through the weight loss script myself personally. Removal of drug addictions, If you've got relationship stuff, it's got relationship stuff and all that sort of thing. And quit smoking. It's actually how Luke got started. So yeah, that's the breakthrough program. You get that as part of the training that you do with Luke, and then you get the certification. So yeah, that's basically Luke in a nutshell. So yeah, and you get a whole heap of Facebook support as well, and some really nice friends. But I hope you found this really helpful, and you've gotten a lot of benefit out of it. And let's see, who are we? We'll come back to. Let's go back to decision. Which decision do you want to decide on today? 1 or 2? I'd love to work with you, but if all you're wanting is free stuff, then hang around on the channel. You'll get lots of stuff through that, and I'll probably be doing some live calls, live streams where I'll do some interventions with people live on the chat. Not just yet, though. I've still got to get some more ducks in a row, get myself organised, and have time. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll catch you in the comments section. And if you want to join me on Facebook, you've got my QR code up there for Facebook. Let's see. And I can't find my other QR codes. So there. So there's Janderra Coaching on Instagram. And if you're watching this on Facebook, there's the YouTube link. Anyway, I've got to get to bed. It's gotten late. I waited and had to wait until the boys had gone to bed before I did the video. So it's been a long day. Anyway, you have a great one, and I will catch you in the comment section. Bless you.